Life is all about choices. Your choice of career is one of the most important decisions imaginable. That's why the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, offers a wide range of certifications and support resources to help you land your dream job. Starting with the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, CPEA, the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence is all about choices. Your choice of vocational qualification is one of the most important decisions imaginable. The Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and our CXC Associate Degree Program, CXC-AD. We cater to learners from the primary to post-secondary levels, including on-demand, innovative certifications for all learners and educators. The choice is yours. Start your career journey with CXC. Visit our website cxc.org to learn more about our various qualifications.
CXC is transforming for greater regional impact through its e-strategy framework. The components of the framework include e-product development. E-product development, which capitalizes on 21st century technology to digitize and digitalize qualifications, syllabuses, standards, and assessment, provides access to educational qualifications in a dynamic environment. EQBank. An EQBank is being developed to expand the CXC's e-authoring capabilities, including the design and execution of technologically enhanced items. E-assessment development. In this process, assessments are prepared, reviewed, and finalized through the use of an electronic platform. E-registration. E-registration is completed through the Online Registration System, ORS. This is used to capture candidate details for CXC's suite of offerings. E-assessment administration. E-assessments are delivered via an electronic device and may include videos, audio clips, hyperlinks, animation, interactive quizzes, and the use of ICT interactivity. This allows for the immediate uploading of test data, which allows results to be issued more quickly. E-marking. Completed examination papers are scanned into an online environment suitable for their retrieval, marking, and storage through the e-marking process. E-grading. Candidates' scores are loaded in batches into the examination processing system. E-grading also reduces the probability of errors. E-results. CXC is developing a secure platform to enable employers, learning institutions, and other entities to validate the authenticity of the certification offered. The transformation of CXC's core business components will improve efficiency and flexibility and improve monitoring and control mechanisms used to ensure quality. The e-transition strategy will also expand access to examination offerings and lead to increased satisfaction.
Life is all about choices. Your choice of career is one of the most important decisions imaginable. That's why the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, offers a wide range of certifications and support resources to help you land your dream job. Life starting with the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, CPEA, the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and our CXC Associate Degree Program, CXC-AD. We cater to learners from the primary to post-secondary levels, including on-demand, innovative certifications for all learners and educators. The choice is yours. Start your career journey with CXC. Visit our website cxc.org to learn more about our various qualifications.
CXC is transforming for greater regional impact through its e-strategy framework. The components of the framework include e-product development. E-product development, which capitalizes on 21st century technology to digitize and digitalize qualifications, syllabuses, standards, and assessment, provides access to educational qualifications in a dynamic environment. EQ-Bank. An EQ Bank is being developed to expand the CXC's e-authoring capabilities, including the design and execution of technologically enhanced items. E-assessment development. In this process, assessments are prepared, reviewed, and finalized through the use of an electronic platform. E-registration. E-registration is completed through the Online Registration System, ORS. This is used to capture candidate details for CXC's suite of offerings. E-assessment administration. E-assessments are delivered via an electronic device and may include videos, audio clips, hyperlinks, animation, interactive quizzes, and the use of ICT interactivity. This allows for the immediate uploading of test data, which allows results to be issued more quickly. E-marking. Completed examination papers are scanned into an online environment suitable for their retrieval, marking, and storage through the e-marking process. E-grading. Candidates' scores are loaded in batches into the examination processing system. E-grading also reduces the probability of errors. E-results. CXC is developing a secure platform to enable employers, learning institutions, and other entities to validate the authenticity of the certification offered. The transformation of CXC's core business components will improve efficiency and flexibility and improve monitoring and control mechanisms used to ensure quality. The e-transition strategy will also expand access to examination offerings and lead to increased satisfaction.
Life is all about choices. Your choice of career is one of the most important decisions imaginable. That's why the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, offers a wide range of certifications and support resources to help you land your dream.
National song to be rendered by 1264 Island Boys. Please remain standing as I invite Reverend Vincia Celestine, Superintendent Minister of the Methodist Church Anguilla Circuit, to deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Jeremiah 29, verse 11 reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me." Gracious and almighty God, we come before you with grateful heart, acknowledging that you are the source of all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We thank you for the gift of learning, for the opportunities you have given to every student, and for the dedication of teachers, principals, parents, guardians, and all who have journeyed with them throughout the past academic year. As we gather for the release of the 2026 CXC examination results, Lord, we recognize that this moment represents months of hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, and hope. We thank you for sustaining our young people through long hours of study, moments of uncertainty, and the challenges they have overcome. Lord, we pray for every candidate awaiting or receiving results today. For those whose achievements exceed their expectations, we pray that you will grant them humble and grateful hearts. May they use their knowledge, talents, and success to serve others and to bring honor to you. For those who may be disappointed, discouraged, or uncertain about the future, Lord, we pray that you will surround them with your love and peace. Remind them that one examination does not determine their worth, their potential, or the purpose you have for their lives. Give them courage to persevere, strength to rise again, and faith to trust that you are opening doors that no one can shut. Heavenly Father, guide the leaders of education throughout our Caribbean region. Grant them wisdom as they seek to provide opportunities that prepare our young people not only for careers, but also for lives of integrity and faithful service. May today's results inspire every student to continue learning, growing, and striving for excellence. Above all, may they remember that true success is found not only in academic accomplishment, but in character, integrity, service, and a life lived in reverence to you. And so, God, as the ceremony begins, may your presence fill this place. Let every spoken word, every announcement made, and every celebration shared be marked by gratitude, hope, encouragement, and love. And so, God, we commit this ceremony into your gracious hands, confident that your plans for our young people are filled with hope and future. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, we pray. Amen and amen.
You may be seated. Your Excellency, Governor Julia Crouch, OBE, Honorable Acting Premier, Mr. Cardigan Connor, Superintendent Minister of the Methodist Church Anguilla Circuit, Reverend Vincia Celestine, Honorable Minister of Social Development, Youth and Culture, Library Services and Probation, Mrs. Shelia Rogers Webster, Honorable Elected Member, Mr. Jason Bryan, Honorable Elected Member, Mr. Merrick Richardson, Permanent Secretary, Social Development and Education, Dr. Bonnie Richardson Lake, other Permanent Secretaries, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Wayne Wesley, Director of Operations, Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Nicole Manning, Principal Assistant Secretary, Social Development and Education, Ms. Jocelyn Johnson, other Principal Assistant Secretaries, Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Tracelyn Hamilton, Education Officer, Assessment, Testing and Examinations and CXC Local Registrar, Ms. Devine Gishard, Education Officer, Curriculum Development Review and Implementation, Mrs. Vanessa Hobson, CXC Local Registrar for Dutch St. Martin, Ms. Yvette Halley, Education Services Planner, Mrs. Dawn Reed, Registrar of the Anguilla Community College, Mrs. Jacqueline Peters Richardson, other colleagues from the ACC, other heads of department and statutory bodies, members of the CXC National Committee, curriculum officers, principals and deputy principals, other government officials, supervisors, invigilators, and moderators, other specially invited guests, teachers, parents, students, members of the media, stakeholders attending virtually via social media platforms, I bid you all a good morning and extend a warm welcome to this ceremony for the official release of the results of the 2026 May-June examinations of the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC. It is a highly anticipated moment in the region, and Anguilla is pleased to serve as the host of this ceremony for this year. In this regard, I now call to the podium Dr. Bonnie Richardson-Lake, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development and Education, to offer official welcome remarks. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please allow me to adopt the protocol that has been so eloquently adapted. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Ministry of Social Development and Education and the Government of Anguilla, to welcome you to Anguilla to this very significant occasion, the official release of the CXC 2026 May-June Regional Examination results. We're especially pleased that Anguilla has been chosen to host this regional release. This is not simply an event at which examination statistics are announced. Rather, it's an important opportunity to recognize the hard work of thousands of young people across the Caribbean, the commitment of their teachers, the support of their families, and the important role that CXC continues to play in maintaining credible regional standards while also responding to the changing needs of our societies. For our students, examination results represent much more than grades on a page. They open doors to further education, training, and employment. They influence the choices that young people make about their futures, and they give us as education leaders important information about where our systems are succeeding and where more work needs to be done. As we celebrate strong performance, we must also use the results before us to inform policy, improve teaching and learning, and ensure that every learner has a genuine opportunity to succeed. Anguilla values its long-standing relationship with the Caribbean Examinations Council, and in recent years, that relationship has developed in new and important ways. In April 2025, Anguilla became the first territory in the region to enter into a memorandum of understanding with CXC to support the responsible integration of generative artificial intelligence within education. I had the privilege of signing that agreement on behalf of the government of Anguilla, together with the CXC's Pro-Registrar and Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Eduardo Ali. That partnership was particularly timely. Artificial intelligence is already changing how students learn, how teachers teach, how information is assessed, and how assessments must be approached. Our response cannot be simply to ignore technology, nor can it be to embrace it without safeguards. The work undertaken with CXC provided an important foundation for the development of Anguilla's national AI and education policy, which seeks to ensure that AI is used ethically and responsibly, with appropriate attention to academic integrity, inclusion, data privacy, educator capacity, student well-being, and importantly, continued human oversight. This is a good example of what regional collaboration can achieve. CXC's role today extends beyond administering examinations. It is also helping member states to think ahead about assessment in a digital age, about the knowledge and skills young people will need, and about how our education systems can remain relevant, credible, and resilient as technology continues to evolve. As we receive the 2026 regional results today, I therefore encourage us to look at them not only as a measure of what students have achieved, but also as evidence that can help shape what comes next. We must continue to strengthen teacher quality, improve student engagement, support parents as partners in education, invest in the resources our schools require, and ensure that our young people are prepared not simply to pass examinations, but to thrive in a rapidly changing society. To the CXC team, thank you very much for your confidence in Anguilla as the host of this regional event for the partnership you continue to extend to us, and for all the work that you've done over the nearly 55 years now. To the Department of Education and all of those who have worked hard to make today's ceremony possible, I thank you. I express sincere appreciation. Most importantly, to the students whose achievements we recognize today, congratulations. Your results are a product of your discipline, perseverance, and many, many hours of work. Whatever your individual results are today, I encourage you to see it as a stage of your journey, not an endpoint, just rather a beginning. Continue to learn, continue to adapt, and continue to pursue excellence. And as our chairperson said, my duty here was to welcome you all, so I say welcome and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson-Lake, for your welcome and also for emphasizing the special relationship between Anguilla and the CXC. And I was able to witness firsthand how this relationship was nurtured by our former CXC local registrar, so I take this opportunity to acknowledge her presence, Ms. Colleen Hosford. We are now honored to invite Dr. Wayne Wesley to share his remarks as Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the CXC. Dr. Wayne Wesley is a transformational Caribbean educator committed to advancing world-class learning and assessment systems. Passionate about regional integration and development, he views Caribbean people as central to the region's socio-economic growth. Appointed in August 2019 as Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Wesley has spearheaded major educational initiatives such as what Dr. Bonnie just spoke about, the development of CXC's responsible generative AI policy framework for the regional secondary education system. A 2003 Fulbright Scholar, Dr. Wesley holds a PhD in Industrial Engineering from Florida State University, an MSc in Manufacturing Systems from Southern Illinois University, and a B.Ed in Industrial Technology with first-class honors from the University of Technology, Jamaica. Dr. Wesley also holds Executive Education Certification in Public Policy Analysis, Innovation, Financial Service Management, and Strategic Direction and Leadership from various institutions, including the London School of Economics and Political Science, Columbia University, Harvard University, and the Manchester Business School. He is a Chartered Manager and Fellow of the Chartered Management Institute of the United Kingdom and a Fellow of the American Society for Quality. Dr. Wesley previously served as Education Director of Jamaica's Human Employment and Resource Training, or HEART Trust, and chaired the Caribbean Association of National Training Authorities, CANTA. He currently sits on the Statute Amendment Committee of the Caribbean Community Administrative Tribunal, CCAT, and on the Board of Trustees of the International Association for Educational Assessment, IAEE. Dr. Wesley, welcome again to Anguilla, and welcome now to this podium.
Master of Ceremonies, thank you very much for that introduction. Whenever I hear these things read, something, when did I find out? When did all of that happen? And, but thank you very much for that introduction. Your Excellency, Governor Julia Couch, Honorable Minister, Acting Premier, Mr. Cardigan Connor, our Superintendent Minister of the Methodist Church, Reverend Vincia Celestine, Honorable Speaker of the Anguillan House of Assembly, Ms. Tara Carter, Honorable Minister of Social Development, Education, Youth and Culture, Library Services and Probation, the energetic and youthful Ms. Shelley Rogers Webster, Honorable Minister of, well, Jason Brown, right? Elected member. I was looking for your portfolio, but perhaps you will be the next Minister for Languages, being able to speak Spanish and all of that, you know. See? Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development and Education, Dr. Bonnie Richardson Lake. And I just want to take this time out to say thank you, Dr. Lake, for your service to the Caribbean Examinations Council. I know you're planning on rechanging or retiring with, you know, new tires to go other places. And that's how I'm choosing to recognize your retirement, because as youthful as you are, I don't know where you're going. Other distinguished members, let me recognize from CXC, Dr. Nicole Manning, our Director of Operations, our local registrar, principals, teachers, students, well-wishers, and all those who are joining us online, members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Come on, this is Anguilla. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, that sounds like the breakfast I had this morning. A lot of energy and a lot of spunk, right? Anguilla is such a beautiful place, and ever since we arrived on Sunday, actually, we came in on Sunday, almost didn't make the trip, but luckily we got the opportunity to be here. But ever since we arrived in Anguilla on Sunday, we recognized how beautiful this country is. And then when we were greeted by the people, I said, oh man, this is lovely. Already one of our colleagues is deciding to relocate, you know, and so on the very next day, we actually went to the building. We saw the immigration office so she can apply for the immigration. We saw the passport office so she can get her passport. We met with the labor commissioner so she can get her work permit. And she's all set. There's one other thing that is needed, but we won't say right here, and she knows. But the place is such a beautiful place. I mean, when we were driving in the morning, I asked the driver, Mr. Hodge, what's the rush hour traffic like, right? I said, well, you know, it comes at about 8 o'clock. I said, well, I can get used to this. You know, and then when we look at the landscape, the place is so clean and beautiful, right? And I'm saying, wow, this is such a lovely place. Then they took us to La View, and we were looking out on the ocean. I said, oh man, I can perhaps get up like this every morning, right? Having this lovely view of the ocean. But certainly, it's a pleasure for us, the hospitality, and we just want to say thanks to the government and people of Anguilla for the hospitality and the genuine care that you have shown. You know, we are also enjoying the food. I tell you, the food is good. My team can't stay in house. They're always out every night. Let's go someplace. And we are hoping, you know, I was in discussion with the Honorable Minister this morning, and she reminded us that this is 10 years in coming. The last time CXC came here, and recognizing that even though she's the Minister of Culture as well, she previously held the hospitality industry, Mr. Connor, right? And she's saying, make sure we have a day that we sort of go around to all the beaches and doing all the things that we need to do to enjoy the hospitality of Anguilla. And I'm saying it's really a lovely place. Protect it. You have really a paradise that persons are longing for. So well done. I stand here this morning to launch and to put forward the official release of the Caribbean Examinations Council. And I'm aware that students who are present in the audience here and online and everywhere are anxious to receive their results. I said to one person yesterday that persons are biting on their nails, and they said, if there's any nail left, right? All of it is gone by now. But I want to assure you that the region is on the rise. You know, learning is not wasted. The region is on the rise. So let me start by saying to the government and people of Anguilla that you have been superb in facilitating the hosting of the release of results after 10 years. We have returned. So this is the great return, right? The great return. I bring you best wishes on behalf of the board, chaired by Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, who is our chairman, and our hardworking management and staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council, some of whom are watching this ceremony and providing critical engine support, room support, for this official release results ceremony. It is fitting that we gather here in the Valley for what I believe will be remembered as a defining moment in Caribbean education. On the most significant day in the CXC calendar, we send a clear message to the region and to the world. No territory in our Caribbean community is too small to host a moment of great significance. Each August, a familiar ritual unfolds across our region. Families gather around phones, kitchen tables. Students refresh the portals again and again, which I'm quite sure they're doing now. One eye closed, fingers crossed, teachers in waiting too, just as anxious as the students they have guided. Results Day is woven in the fabric and rhythm of our Caribbean life. Following my remarks, Dr. Nicole Manning, CXC's Director of Operations, will present a detailed report and analysis of this year's examinations results. And I'm seeing some very beautiful results there for Anguilla, which she will speak to. Minister, you can smile, I like that. Yes, very good, yes. My job is simply to reflect on what these results mean for us as a region in the context of a world that is being rapidly shaped by the forces of technological innovation and change. For over half a century, the Caribbean Examinations Council has been the custodian of something precious, a regional currency of achievement. When our founders took the bold step of replacing overseas examinations with our own, they made a declaration of intellectual sovereignty and cultural identity. We declare to all who would hear and the Caribbean that the Caribbean could set its own standard, and that standard would be world class. A CSEC or CAPE certificate earned in Kingston, Jamaica is honored in Bridgetown, Barbados, one earned in Catherine's Open Doors in Georgetown, Port of Spain, and here in the Valley is recognized anywhere in the world. The qualification is internationally, globally recognized. Our students, yes. It is portable and trusted, it is a portable and trusted credential, and the engine of individual advancement and foundation for regional development. It is how a student from any Caribbean state signals to the world, I am ready. As the regional examination and awarding body, our position is clear. No learning must go to waste. And I heard Reverend Celestine prayed this morning, and she said, thank God for all learning. And so we thank God for all learning. And I'm saying she must have been reading my speech. No learning goes to waste. We must help learners across the Caribbean to believe in themselves, especially in subjects that too many have come to fear. We must encourage them to stop saying they cannot pass mathematics and to start believing that with the right guidance and support, they can. Students? Students? For years in mathematics, the subject that is foundational to every vocation in life, only about a third of our candidates have achieved acceptable grades in a typical sitting. Behind that statistic are hundreds of thousands of young people who sat in our classrooms for 5 years and walked away with nothing in hand to show or what they did learn. Not because they learned nothing, but because our instrument of assessment was an all or nothing event. One subject, one sitting, one verdict. If the verdict went against you, the system did not recognize you and stayed silent about your progress. 16 months ago, CXC announced to the region the piloting of an initiative to address the perennial underperformance of our students in certain subjects, especially in mathematics, called the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, better known as CTEC. I described CTEC as a game changer, and I promised then that we are witnessing the beginning of the end of the Caribbean Examinations Council as we know it. Today, we keep that promise and we make history in Anguilla by announcing that the achievement of the highly successful CTEC pilot in mathematics in the May-June 2026 examinations, and with the approval of our Board of Governors, CXC is pleased to officially launch the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, CTEC. CTEC takes the subject you know, the same syllabus, the same standard, the same rigorous standard, and breaks them down into focus modules that students can master and be assessed on and be certified for step by step. In other words, CTEC is FIT, Focused Individualized Learning. That's another acronym, but we can talk about that later. Under its guidance, under its guiding target framework, every module completed is a credential earned that is banked, portable, and that builds towards the qualification. And if life interrupts a learner's journey, as life sometimes does, they no longer leave with empty hands. They have the ability now, or they will leave with evidence of the competence and an open door back into the system to continue and to complete their education. At CXC, we hold to the position that competence is competence, no matter how long it takes to achieve. And no matter the route by which it comes. This is how things and times have changed. This is how we have to meet this generation of learners where they are. Our Gen Z learners and our Generation Alpha behind them live in a world of on-demand learning. They master complex skills in structured stages every day, on their own screens and on their own schedules. Our children are not less capable than those who came before them. They are differently wired, digital first, and hungry for credentials that keep pace with their lives. An assessment model built in the 21st century cannot be expected to adequately serve a 21st century generation. CTEC is assessment redesigned for learners without lowering by a single degree the standard to which we hold. Yes? When we are designing CTEC, we ask ourselves, would the region embrace it? Today, we have proof of concept from a region that has overwhelmingly accepted CTEC. When we invited the region to pilot CTEC Mathematics Module 1, more than 2,500 candidates stepped forward as pioneers across 15 territories and 42 centers from Jamaica to Belize, from Barbados to the Cayman Islands, and yes, here in Anguilla, which was among the first countries to sign on to the pilot. Principals told us that their students were excited about the pilot examinations. We went into the field ourselves and spoke with some of these students, and we were pleased with their responses. And so, for CTEC Mathematics, we have observed that parents have taken keen interest. Teachers have embraced this modularized examination format. In the May-June session, 2,535 candidates wrote the Module 1 examination alongside those sitting the full CSEC examinations. I am pleased indeed, and I am proud to announce that of these 2,535 candidates who wrote CTEC Module 1 in the mathematics pilot examination, 88% achieve acceptable grades. And across the entire Caribbean, only one candidate received the lowest grade, only one, right? So it simply means that most candidates are benefiting from the approach. Measured against a generation in which barely 1 in 3 candidates succeed in a typical sitting, this achievement represents a remarkable turnaround. Let me be clear, a module is not a whole subject. The full qualification still requires completion of every module at the full standard. But that it is precisely what these results demonstrate. When learning is assessed in focused, achievable stages, our students do more than cope. They excel, they engage, persist, and succeed. The May-June mathematics pilot proves that the modular approach works for students, for classrooms, and for the region. This landmark result belongs to the young people who earned it. Join me in giving them all a rousing round of applause for their success. Let me also make this important point. The competencies assessed in CTEC Mathematics Module 1 are already embedded in the CSEC Mathematics examination taken by tens of thousands of young people this year. Having received that evidence, I am pleased to announce that on behalf of the Council, that approximately 35,000 candidates from that group, May-June 2023 CSEC Mathematics sitting, will be awarded the CTEC Mathematics Module 1 credential. Yes? And I'll put those numbers in perspective at the end of my presentation so you understand what is happening. This is a new day for our Caribbean learners on the strength of this CTEC mathematics pilot. The Caribbean Examinations Council is declaring to our students this simple truth. What you know counts. We hear you. We see you. Your learning has been seen, measured, and certified. You are not at the end of the road. You are on your way to the staircase, up the staircase rather. The next step is waiting for you. In the age of artificial intelligence and exploding technological innovation, the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, CTEC, is here to encourage you to be a lifelong learner and to think for yourself. CTEC is here to turn the sting of not being recognized into the momentum of unfinished success. To the policymakers in this room and across the region, CTEC is yours to embed in your national education strategies, in your workforce and TVET planning, and second chance programs. Every module certified represents real human capital made visible to employers and your respective economies. Our team stands ready to work with the Ministry of Education, and we will be visiting our territories in the weeks ahead to do exactly that. To our educators, you are the bridge between this design and its promise. You are the ones who told us that our students need a fairer instrument of assessment. You helped us to build it. You piloted it, and it is your professional skill and heart for the students that will carry CTEC forward. Through our training programs, we will walk this road with you, cohort by cohort, module by module. And to our students, including everyone receiving results today, by midday, your results for many of you, your new CTEC credential, will be available on the CXC student portal. To those who excel, we celebrate you. To those whose results are not what you hoped, your story is not over. With your module, take your next step. CXC will be here for you for the journey. It is with this in mind that I invite the Honorable Shelia Rogers Webster, Minister of Social Development and Education, Youth and Culture, Library Services and Production, Anguilla, to join me on stage. Yes, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, CTEC is here to encourage learning, widen the door to certification, and help every Caribbean learner move forward. As individual countries and as one region, We will keep rising until no learning in the Caribbean is ever wasted again. And so, it is now my honor, along with the Honorable Minister of Education, to unveil for the first time the official emblem of the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate. Thank you very much, Minister. There it is. May this mark become familiar in every school, in every Caribbean home, and every corner of our community. May it stand for a regional education system committed to nurturing the potential of every learner and guiding that potential towards excellence. Congratulations to all our candidates and CTEC pilot pioneers across the region. Thank you for your attention. I just want to say we're going to play a little video right now presenting what CTEC is in a nutshell, and we'll be playing this right across our social media pages. But we have used teal as a color because of the inspiration that it brings. And that's what CTEC is about, encouraging motivation and inspiration. And so that qualification is now deeply embedded within the construct of CXC's certification. Thank you. Hold on. They are trying to get the technical issues sorted out. So in the interest of time, I just want to make my final statement here, and then we'll watch the video and the moderator can return, okay? I started out by saying, no learning wasted. The region is on the rise. And listen to why that theme is so true. The impact of this new CTEC, of this new CXC qualification innovation is a source of inspiration for thousands of students across the region. The pilot of CTEC was implemented and evaluated under two conditions. A group of candidates who were selected by schools and ministries to sit the CTEC Module 1, mathematics only, and two, the entire cohort of students sitting CSEC, mathematics, which is the full qualification. The results are extremely encouraging and potentially life-changing. 69,567 candidates have earned Module 1, with special mention of 41,367 students whose motivation have been ignited by hope and are encouraged to progress to the next level. An additional 41,367 candidates have been recognized for their learning. That is remarkable. These are 41,000 students we would not have recognized otherwise. What we have done here with CTech is to ensure that no learning goes to waste. Every effort will be recognized within the context of CTech, and not only recognized, but gives the students the ability to progress to the next level. No learning lost. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. The video.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the Teachers Resource Center in the Valley Anguilla, you have just participated in a historic moment. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. Thank you, Dr. Wesley, for your presentation and also for emphasizing the global recognition of the Caribbean Examinations Council's products and results. And we are pleased to be here to hear you say those words and to continue that relationship and the further development of our region and the integration movement therein. At this time, Dr. Nicole Manning will address us on examination administration, and she will effect the presentation of results. Dr. Nicole Manning joined the staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council on the 1st of February 2020 as Director of Operations Examination Services. Dr. Manning possesses a Doctor of Education degree in Organizational Leadership from the Nova Southeastern University in Florida, a Master of Science in Computer-Based Management Information Systems, and a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Management from the University of the West Indies, Mona. She also holds a postgraduate diploma in education from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and a postgraduate certificate in risk management from the Institute of Risk Management in the United Kingdom. Dr. Manning is an industry professional with over 20 years of regional and international managerial experience in diverse industries, from test development and measurement to quality assurance and strategic management. Dr. Manning's extensive experience in the fields of education and assessment have equipped her with the necessary tools to strategically manage the development of examination services, which are delivered by the Department of Examinations Development and Production and the Department of Examinations Administration and Security. Dr. Manning, welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Honorable Acting Premier, Superintendent Minister of the Methodist Church, Honorable Minister of Social Development, Education, Youth, Culture, Library Services, and Probation, Permanent Secretary, Dr. Richardson Lake. Boy, I'm telling you, long and hard work, but we are here. Our local registrars, we have 2 local registrars here. Of course, we cannot but welcome again Ms. Horsford, who has been with us for years. But special at this time is Ms. Guichard and Dr. Halley from St. Martin. And we also have with us our local registrars across the region online. Now, I mention the local registrars because very important to these results are those local registrars. They are our hands and feet on the ground. So our own registrar will always mention the care that they extend on behalf of the Caribbean Examinations Council in ensuring that we have these results today. So I really want to say thanks to them. Our own team members in the Caribbean Examinations Council, they are not all here, but I'm sure they are online. Many of them have been working tirelessly, and when we say tirelessly, I mean tirelessly. So I really want to say thanks to my team in particular, but the wider Caribbean Examinations Council. We are 130 strong, and so you can just imagine working with almost 1 million entries. It's really a lot of work, but they get it done, and we are absolutely so grateful. Grateful to them, and very importantly, grateful to the Almighty God. So as I begin the official release of results, I must add to Dr. Wesley's thanks to the people of Anguilla for the warmth, I would say. And that smile is really so infectious. It's just not, I mean, at breakfast you get it, in the car you get it. We met with the acting premier yesterday, and he was just beaming. Well, we knew Honorable Minister before, and we knew PS, but I'm telling you, it really has been so warm. So we say thanks. So let me begin by just continuing on the focus on our Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate. You can well imagine that this is not only big, but very important for the Caribbean, and we do know and expect that others will follow. This particular certification sits in the suite of our qualification and will augur well as it holds the same standard as the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate to the right of it. And so it's very important to understand that it stands at the same level. The 2026 pilot that Dr. Wesley mentioned and spoke about so well, I just want to give a little bit more information in relation to the fact that there are new opportunities coming out of this. So within the CTEC pilot, as was mentioned, the 88% of the candidates within the pilot receiving the CTEC Module 1. Now, it's very important also to note that this 38,832 that I'm mentioning are the other CSEC candidates, and that's how we have that 41,367 mentioned. So I'm just giving you a deeper dive on that. The pilot impacted 15 territories, but you can well imagine you have the value of those CSEC candidates doing the exams right across the 21 territories that we serve. I also want to note that these 2,535 candidates that were involved in the pilot this year will continue to enjoy doing the other modules free of cost. So they will proceed to do the modules 2 and 3. And it's very important to note that these candidates have over a 4-year period to complete that. And when they're done, having completed the last module, they could do module 3 before module 2. That flexibility exists. And when they're complete, all 3 modules, as Dr. Wesley mentioned, they'll get the CSEC certificate. Now, this is not the only, math is not the only certificate, this qualification that is going to be, candidates can sit going forward, but of course we started with math because we know what it means, not only to the region, but globally. So this solution stands. I must further say, and I'm going to share a few successes at the center level. Now, I'm just going to call it Center A. So in 2019, I'm showing you that 184 candidates at this center sat the CSEC math. And as you're seeing on screen, only 44 would have gotten acceptable grades. In 2023, just to take it forward a bit, 151 candidates did the CSEC math, and 30 plus getting the acceptable grade. 165 CSEC math, and a mere 14 getting acceptable grade. 2025, 171 candidates doing the CSEC math, and 20 plus getting an acceptable grade. In 2026, we had 149 candidates doing the CSEC math and 22 receiving acceptable grades. But with CTEC, we have 265 candidates doing the modules and 100 plus receiving an acceptable grade. This is representing now, instead of just a mere 22, 71%, I'm so excited, 71% of the candidates in the very same center now receiving at least the module 1 and being able to move forward to modules 2 and 3. Just to make sure that we are understanding that this is not a one center experience, I'll share one more. This is 37 candidates sitting, and you're going to see this increase. 41 sitting, and you have 22 receiving the acceptable grades. 45 candidates sitting in 2024, 9 receiving acceptable grades. 70 in 2025, and 52 receiving acceptable grades. 74 in 2026, and 52 receiving acceptable grades. Very good. But the 42 that's at CTEC, 40 of those candidates, representing a 95% acceptable grade for these candidates. So we can see the evidence of this story of success. The candidates will not go back, they will go forward to complete their other assessments, modules 2 and 3. So let me say, in completing the presentation, although we're all excited about CTEC, the presentation of the qualification of our suite, we share with you the other information regarding our CAPE and CSEC and CCSLC and CPA that continues to bear that flag on fruit for all of our candidates across the region. Very important to note, and just to give you a few snippets about registration and administration this year, CAPE saw an increase, both the subject and candidate entries. We saw an increase in the in the entries this year. For CSEC, we saw a reduction in the number of candidate entries, but an increase in the subject entries. And this is possible because you can have less candidates doing more subjects. That's very possible. For the CCSLC, we had a reduction in both. And in the CPA, in which Anguilla participates, we had 6,072 candidates from across the 7 territories. Now, this is something, as I said, snippets. This is a big concern of the Caribbean Examinations Council and continues to be a concern for us. The absenteeism, where we have, while it is reducing, we had 3,534 candidates in the level at Cape being absent. Now, what does this mean for our candidates? A candidate who is absent has no opportunity to be graded because they have missed a component and cannot be graded. So that candidate would have lost out on that opportunity. For CSEC, it's even more worrying. 32,403 candidates not turning up for exams is something that the education system across the region has to be concerned about. It is something that the Caribbean Examinations Council is concerned about, and we are working very hard to encourage our candidates to turn up. Parents, guardians, turn up. We are encouraging our educators to encourage these students to turn up. We have done many surveys, and the surveys tell us that sometimes candidates just feel that they're unprepared and decide not to turn up. This is not a reason to be absent. Just try. As we say, nothing beats a trial, but that's right. The CCSLC, while the absenteeism may not look so great, but percentile-wise, this is a worrying concern too. We move to the gender. We have been kind of showing what is happening where the gender balance is concerned. And we have found that this is representative of what happens. It gets less and less as you go higher. So we saw 62% of females sitting Cape and 38% of the males. But look at what existed at CSEC. We had 59% females and 41% males. It gets a little different again. Females 48 at CCSLC and 52%. Let me pause here. Remember, the candidates who are sitting CCSLC are predominantly between the first 3 years in secondary school. So you can well imagine at the primary level where they are pretty much dead on equal. Then moving to secondary and post-secondary, and somehow the disparity appears. It's important for us to do that deep dive and understand. And I can tell you, I have no apologies for this. For me, men are born leaders, and we have to respect that and help them to stay in that place. This disparity has come about for whatever reason, and together as educators, we are going to try and see what we can do to ensure that the candidates, students, our own children that start at the primary level 50-50, we remove that disparity to 62-38. I know you're going to work with us. I want to also point out another very important group for the Caribbean Examinations Council. There are candidates that require special assessment arrangements. The Caribbean Examinations Council sees this as serving as our duty of care. And so we have 20 opportunities, 20 provisions for candidates. It may be that the candidates need additional time for whatever reason. You have different candidates or medical doctors may say that they need different assistance, somebody to read, for example. While we do Braille, we still sometimes see where candidates may need additional assistance. And so this year, we saw 16 territories requiring candidates to utilize this particular provision, 17 of the 20 provisions for CSEC. And 8 territories had candidates who utilized 14 of the 20 provisions for CAPE. Now, this is very important to us, and it's something that we're going to be sharing more of for the education system to adopt the same provisions that the Caribbean Examinations Council utilizes in our assessment process. As Dr. Wesley mentioned, our educational assessment regional focus is where everything we have, we share with the education system free of cost, because we want to ensure that those standards remain the same in teaching, learning, and assessment. We move on to just look at a little bit about the general administration. You'll recall last year, October 2025, when a Category 5 hurricane hit Jamaica. And so a lot of the candidates on the western part of the island, central and western, more so western, really saw their opportunity for examinations going through the door. Many of those candidates lost homes, and the Caribbean Examinations Council, through our CXC disaster recovery protocol, we were able to work with Jamaica and to ensure that these candidates were not left behind. Approximately 50% of those centers all the centers were given the opportunity to select which mode they would take. Now, you know, we have a tried and proven strategy called the modified approach. And so 50% of those candidates, those centers in that part of the country being affected, selected the modified approach. We also saw, just general administration, an increased participation in electronic assessment. And our registrar also always speaks about the longitudinal analysis that many countries want to do. And we want to support that. We are driving that with you. So we have to encourage an increased involvement in electronic assessment. But I must say for Anguilla, we're happy that you have been doing quite well in that area, and we know that you will continue and minister, encourage our fellow educators across the region. We have been seeing an increase, an improvement, and deliberate activities working with the Caribbean Examinations Council to make this happen. And we can happily say that the CTEC this year was utilized, the hybrid e-assessment, was utilized this year as a part of our administration for CTEC. This is what the hybrid e-assessment looks like. You have the on-screen paper, and the candidates can write in their answer booklets. So this gives them continued comfort in their space while helping us to transition to that space. Another quick component we would want to look at is the school-based assessment. Now, there are 2 categories there, the non-submission by centers and non-submission by candidates. The non-submission by a center means that a candidate may have done a school-based assessment, and the center, for whatever reason, it did not reach the CXC. The other group, non-submission by candidates, mean the candidates did not do the school-based assessment at all. So we are seeing an increase in the non-submission of candidates, while somewhat a little steady on the non-submission by centers. But both are worrying for us, because as it pertains to the absenteeism, so it does for non-submission of SBAs. Non-submission of SBAs, or not doing a third paper or any other component for that matter, is going to make the candidate ungraded. Similarly for CSEC, the same thing happens. And this is even more worrying because this is actually increasing for whatever reason. So all of our ministries of education listening on, this is something we're asking you to do a deep dive in and just to work with our candidates, parents, community leaders, really helping them to understand the purpose of sitting every single component. The last component that we want to give you a little snippet on is what we call our irregularities and the compassionate consideration. Irregularities mean that a candidate, for whatever reason, may have entered an exam and conducted themselves in an inappropriate manner. That can be disrupting, unruly behavior, the use of a cell phone, can be anything. And so this year we saw a whopping 128, moving from 80. And this is not something the Caribbean examinations like to see, because candidates who commit an irregularity, have any of those misconducts, their grades are either canceled or they're disqualified. And we saw quite a bit of this year, not only from an individual candidate, but candidates doing the same thing over and over. So they're entering different examinations and doing the same thing. Compassionate considerations, the Caribbean Examinations Council continues to support, like we do for special assessment arrangements, where for whatever reason, a candidate may even have a medical condition, death, whatever it is. And these candidates, 359 of them, we served in this manner. So that means that these candidates were not disadvantaged in any way, even though they experienced some issue in their lives. We are helping them to continue. To avoid irregularities by guiding our students, I believed that I needed to share a little bit more about the top 3 issues we had this year. The use of unauthorized devices. This represented the largest instance reported. 2, collusion, where candidates are trying to work with each other in an exam to complete the exam. Thirdly, use of unauthorized material, and the new one on the block, AI misuse. We have never had this before. This is new. So it is critical for us to understand that similarly, like we did in terms of the AI policy framework, and happily to know that Anguilla has done their own national policy, the Caribbean Examinations Council did standards and guidelines for the use of artificial intelligence in our assessments, and more so generally across. And so the AI assessment scale done by Perkins et al. 2014, we have adapted it, and we have shared with the ministries. So just to say that before the misuse of AI, we had already provided these guidelines. And we are still encouraging schools to adopt and use and whatever they want to do, but it's all in the vein of protecting our candidates and for them to use AI responsibly. I will say one thing. Students, and I'm looking at you, do not put your personal identifiable information in any source, in any platform, because that's taking your identity. And this document speaks about it too. So as educators, we're encouraging you to promulgate this information. I will move straight, after giving you those snippets, to the performance for CAPE and CSEC. Now, it is so pleasing to note that our regional percentage of acceptable grades have gone up a notch again for CAPE. So we are seeing 93.52% of our candidates overall receiving acceptable grades. So just to give you, go ahead. Just to give you a few highlights, we're only looking at the 5 top performing subjects in the largest cohorts for CAPE. So in looking at that, we're seeing Caribbean studies coming out on top as in terms of candidates receiving, percentage of candidates receiving acceptable grades. And this year we want to show you that 10 of our territories had acceptable grades between 98% to 100%. So you do have territories that all candidates received acceptable grades. And even though we have 5 on below the regional level, look at that, 91% to 97%. That's still very, very, very good. So it is very important to note, likewise, for information technology, both units 1 and 2, something that is very, I guess for this particular generation, the regional percentage for both 95% and 99% consecutively, it's very important to note that the majority of the territories are above the regional performance. I would also like to add a very important subject for us, all of us in here, environmental science, units 1 and 2. We saw that the percentage of the candidates receiving acceptable grade, 97% for environmental science unit 1 and 96% for unit 2. And look at those grades for the unit 1, not grades, sorry. Look at the percentage range. 99 to 100% of our 6 territories, they received acceptable grades. 100%, that's really great. For the unit 2, those 5 territories receiving between 12% and 96%. So it's a range, so you have territories who may have received 12%, then you have in between, right? I want you to make sure that you are very clear on that. So this data is telling us where, in terms of where we have our territories performing. I want to also add that physics, another subject, we also saw good performance, the regional performance, 97% and 98%. And we also had territories, 4 territories respectively, having the 100% almost, if we round off, candidates, territories performing higher than the regional percentage. This followed strain for entrepreneurship also. Now, there are other subjects that performed below, at or below the regional performance. But for CAPE, we must understand, remember the overall would have been 93.5, so that's about 94%. So we're not expecting any of our subjects to be very low. And this is a very good story for us, because it's telling us, even though they're at or below the regional percentage, you're seeing here the regional percentage being 93 or 95% for the case of Unit 2. But look at the candidates, the territories performing above that regional percentage. 95% to 100. 6 territories had that kind of performance, and 9 territories having the percentage of candidates receiving acceptable grades between 96% and 100%. So this is great for us, and we want to continue to encourage our CAPE candidates in doing very well. The story continues for pure math, Unit 1. There are some concerns for some of our territories who are performing between at the 33% level. There's work to be done, but we want to continue the story, the fact that it goes all the way up to 89%, even though it's below the regional percentage. Quickly to chemistry, a similar story here in terms of having territories performing above and below. Now, this is very important to note. Communication studies, we had 93% of the candidates sitting communication studies receiving an acceptable grade. Now, this is very important, similarly to the Caribbean studies, because you know there are 2 subjects that candidates in general need to go to university, and these 2, and I know the scholarships, but I'm just focusing, as I think Dr. Richardson Lake mentioned, candidates are going on whether to higher education, whether for employment, and these are 2 very important subjects for them. And so we are seeing where overall everybody performed quite well, even though they are above, at, or below the regional standard. But I want to also add for Anguilla. You topped 100, all of your candidates got acceptable grade for communication studies. And note, you are above the regional percentage. Happy to say also that as we look at accounting unit 1 and 2, the percentage improvements, sorry about that, remained the same. While the percentage receiving acceptable grades were 79% and 87% respectively, it is still a good story. We're just asking territories to compare your results with regional percentage and carve around. Let us work together to see how we can pull each other up together. Now, the CSEC paints a little different story, but a good story nevertheless. And the overall performance being 72.18%, if you notice there, a slight increase over 2025-2026. Just wanted to zoom to show you that. It's important to note the top performing subjects for CSEC. Now, for CSEC, information technology, as you note, similar to what we had in Cape, was the top performing subject for us. So the regional percentage being 83%, we had 14 territories performing above that regional percentage and 6 territories at or below that percentage. And for Anguilla, you went above the regional percentage again. And you have been holding true over the years, right? Now, it's important to also note, for principles of business, the regional percentage is 81%, and the story remains the same for principles of business. For Anguilla also, you really moved that needle in 2026. I know you'll be looking at dissecting in terms of those 1s and 2s and so on, but I want us to understand you didn't get any 3s at all this year. So that's extremely good. English A. The regional percentage looking good, and we're looking forward to it continuing upwards. 80% regional percentage, and you can see the balance on either side for the territories, 10 territories above and 11 below. And of course, Anguilla looking quite good above the regional percentage. I must also note EDPM with a 79% percentage, and again, Anguilla is 93%. Way above the regional percentage. And what is very unique about this one this time around, you had if you notice, you are seeing 43% of the candidates receiving a grade 1 this year. That's very good. Particularly compared to last year where you only had 1%. I thought you'd be clapping more than that. Human and social biology, the regional percentage being 78%, and the story continues on that, along with Anguilla's percentage at 90% above the regional percentage. The CSEC subjects performing at or below the overall regional performance, we start with principles of accounts, 72%, and you can see 6 territories at the bottom there with 41% to 70%, and they do the due diligence. But Anguilla, still 100%. Physics, 69% regional percentage, with that similar story for the region. Anguilla having 100% getting acceptable grades. No grades 3. For chemistry, 68% for the regional percentage, with 15 territories above and 6 below. This is an area you'll have to look at, but it is still not so far below the percentage of the regional. The balance is important. So we have to do some work there. But the story doesn't end. Let's look at social studies. Social studies has taken a hit this year, generally. And so we saw territories doing as low as 44%, but as high as 100%. And of course, Anguilla was one of them. Again, no threes. For math, the regional percentage being 42%, this is a 5% increase, 4% increase over the previous year. And this is a good story. I don't want anybody to be crying because any improvement in math is a good improvement. And so it's important for us to be happy about that. There's nothing about improvement is improvement. And so 14 territories had 43% to 77% in terms of the above the regional percentage, and 7 territories, had between 30% and 38%. Anguilla was above the regional average. I know that's not where you want to be, but I'm telling you that you are above the regional average. Let's give thanks for that. And if you didn't notice, you have moved from the 30 group completely. So over the last 2 years, you have been doing 38%, and this year you moved 10% that needed. So Minister, you move another 10% and another 10% in no time. It will be a good story. Better story than what you now have. Now, the Caribbean Examinations Council has decided to show a little bit about other qualifications that we have, and I'll just do this very quickly. We have associate degrees, we have diplomas, and we have business certificates. And so these have been increasing. These candidates who do combination of business subjects also get a business certificate, and that helps them in matriculation for further education. The CAPE Awards, we have both the diplomas and the associate degrees. Now, while you see 156 for the associate degrees, we had 7,000 odd applications. Now, that doesn't mean they weren't successful. It means they're on the trajectory. So a candidate who does associate degrees, they have to do 10 CAPE units. And they have the opportunity of doing a 2+2. So you know that if you do your associate degrees, you can matriculate and do just 2 other years in a university that's accepting the associate degree. And we do have quite a few internationally. And so it's important to note that this 156 are just those who completed, meaning that they did CAPE 1 and CAPE 2. So you do that 7,000 odd. Next year, we are expecting to see a big jump because that's a big increase we had this year. For the diplomas, these are candidates doing 6 CAPE, and they do get the diploma, and it is something that they utilize to go on. So it's a strategy you want to build in your planning. The CCSLC is, as I said before, the foundation qualification that CXC encourages persons to do because it helps from the primary to the early secondary years all the way up. And this is where you're going to get your data, especially for territories that you're looking at primary all the way up. And you can see where those numbers are. In some instances, for the math, we had a reduction, but and generally across, but like the integrated science, French, Spanish, digital literacy, and so on, holding true. And the performance in the CCSLC, particularly, most candidates as the orange region were deemed competent, then mastery, which is the blue region, and the developing competence is our gray region. Quickly to say that we continue to offer CVQs, and in 2026, the number of registered candidates 4,977 in 37 occupational areas. This is an increase over last year's 3,719 in 36 occupational areas. This is also a qualification that's very important. And this is why CXC is sharing its complete suite of qualification, because in the future we're going to have a wallet, and that's for another country. 10 years in Anguilla, so another country will get that launch of our wallet, Dr. Wesley, where candidates can have all their certificates in their wallet, so you can actually share that. And for the CVQs, interestingly enough, the gender equity is there. The statement of competence is released. We had 985 for the statements and 845 for the full qualification. Now, this is very important for us to note when we have revised or amended syllabi assessed in 2026. For environmental science, it declined over both units, but we're not too concerned, because you saw the results I showed you earlier. They were in the top performing areas. So a decline could be point something percent. For the CSEC in the EDPM, it was also, while it declined, still in that top area, and office administration improved over 2025, even though it was a new syllabus. For 2027, we want you to note that we have for BMed, History, and Economics coming out for 2026, the 2026-2027 academic year. For assessment in 2027, you are aware that CAPE is for 1 year. Now, this is the story I said I started with. Dr. Wesley started with this, and I'm ending with it. The first 4 subjects you're seeing there in bold, these are going to be offered in 2027, with the fact that the syllabus was released in 2025. What does this mean? It means that all of these, the syllabi would have been modularized. What does that mean? Candidates can do the CTEC. And so this is not only a story for the candidates who want to pace themselves, but this is where we are increasing the flexibility. I may just want to do a module just to enhance what I'm doing. I may not want to do the full qualification. And the ones you see below, 2028, are coming on. PE and sports and theater arts and so on. So we are transitioning to that sphere where we'll have more and more. So this is 9 over the 27, 20, 28. So we do look forward to hearing what happened with English A and continues to happen with math. So I want to encourage persons, as you access your preliminary results, that you are seeing the portal note there. Our registrar did mention it, and I want to give one big announcement, that the students who are registered for CTEC pilot should select the CTEC option under the period field when you go in your student portal, and when you log in, you just select CTEC. And if it is that you did CTEC and CSEC, because we do have candidates doing both, you select CTEC first, and then you move into the CSEC for your other remaining results. I say thank you and congratulations to candidates across the region.
And we say thank you again to Dr. Manning. That was quite a bit of information that she presented. Give her another round of applause. She highlighted that CXC acknowledges that it has a duty of care and that it sees actual real persons behind those scripts, that they have various needs, and that those needs are catered to in different ways by the Caribbean Examinations Council. And of course, kudos are due in Anguilla to the Anguilla Community College for the CAPE results, and of course to what I know as an awesome school, the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School. Long may she stand. Long may she stand. a place of honor in the land. And I think that has to be recognized, that complementary narrative of our school. Ms. Nevaeh Simpson will now perform for us her winning poem for the 2026 Malliahana Poetry Competition, the junior category. Ms. Simpson's poem is called Up the Road. Please welcome her.
Up the road, got a man with a voice so bold and heaps of land. He got a big coconut tree full of big fruits and always sharp cause he always in a suit. Up the road got a big dog, I think he named Froggy Frog. He always roaming up the place, he always want his own personal space. Up the road got a big group, they be shooting the ball in the orange hoop. Them think them tough, them think them buff, laughing loud and being rough. Up the road the breeze is cool, children playing after school, music ringing down the street, everyone moving to the beat. Up the road is where I stay, full of life both night and day. From little things to big and proud scenes, it's more than just a place, it's a place with my dreams. Thank you.
Good job, Nevaeh, on that performance. Another round of applause for her, please. Next on the program is the feature address for this official ceremony for the release of CXC results for the year 2026. And our featured speaker is Mrs. Shelia Rogers-Webster, Honorable Minister of Social Development, Education, Youth and Culture, Library Services, and Probation. As Dr. Wesley earlier indicated, Mrs. Rogers-Webster formerly served as the Deputy Director of Tourism at the Anguilla Tourist Board. Prior to this, she served in various roles across the Anguilla Public Service for 14 years, including as the Division Head for Culture and Arts at the Department of Youth and Culture. Mrs. Rogers-Webster holds an associate degree in business studies, as well as a Bachelor of Arts degree in arts management with minors in political science and business administration from the University of Wisconsin. As a Chevening Scholar, Mrs. Rogers-Webster pursued and was awarded a master's degree in public management, local policy and leadership from the University of Birmingham. She also holds a professional certificate in sustainable tourism destination management from George Washington University and is a chartered director with the Caribbean Governance Training Institute. Mrs. Rogers-Webster currently serves on the Administration Committee in the Anguilla House of Assembly. As Minister of Education, Mrs. Rogers-Webster is deeply committed to the strategic prioritization of sectoral needs and the provision of the requisite resources. We welcome the Honorable Minister to the podium to deliver the feature address.
Good morning, everyone. I wish to adopt the protocol already established, but I'd like to recognize Dr. Wesley and Dr. Manning and the entire CXC team and thank them for choosing Anguilla as their host destination this year. It is certainly an honor and a privilege. I also wish to recognize the members of my ministerial colleagues across the entire region who I know are tuned in. A number of us have built some amazing relationships, and I want to thank them for their continued support. There are moments in the life of a nation that reminds us not only of where we come from, but more importantly, where we are destined to go. Today is one of those moments. Today, Anguilla has the distinct pleasure of welcoming the Caribbean to our shores as we celebrate the achievements of young people and reaffirm our commitment to educational excellence. On behalf of the government and people of Anguilla, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to each of you. It is with both an honor and a privilege to host the official release of the 2026 Caribbean Examinations Council examination results. And of course, we again thank the Caribbean Examination Council for once again placing their confidence in our island. This occasion is particularly significant to us. The last time Anguilla had the honor of hosting the official CXC event was 10 years ago. So we once again welcome them back a decade later. We appreciate this opportunity to celebrate not just Anguilla, but to celebrate the entire region. Today's ceremony is about much more than just the examination results. It's about celebrating aspirations. It's about recognizing perseverance. It's about honoring achievements. And above all, it's about reaffirming our belief in the extraordinary promise of Caribbean people. For more than 5 decades, the Caribbean Examination Council has been one of the finest examples of what regional cooperation can achieve. Please give them a round of applause. Established in 1972 by participating CARICOM governments, CXC was born from a bold vision to create a regional system of examinations and certification that reflected the Caribbean realities, Caribbean aspirations, and of course, Caribbean excellence. That vision has not only endured, but I must say it has flourished. When CXC administered its first examinations in 1979, students sat just 5 subjects: English, geography, history, mathematics, and integrated science. Those examinations laid the foundation for what has become one of the most respected regional qualification systems in the world. Today, CXC offers 33 CSEC subjects, including 28 general proficiency and 5 technical proficiency, alongside 36 CAPE subjects spanning the sciences, humanities, business, languages, mathematics, technical disciplines, and so much more. For generations of Caribbean students, including myself, as this marks 20 years since I sat my first CXC subject, these qualifications have served as passports to universities, professional careers, entrepreneurship, and public service. They have enabled our people to compete confidently on the regional and international stage while remaining firmly rooted in our Caribbean identity. This is something that we should be celebrating immensely. Each year, over 100,000 candidates participate in CXC examinations, representing hundreds of thousands of entries across the Caribbean. Behind every examination paper is a story of sacrifice, a story of determination, a story of resilience and hope. Behind every result released here today is a student's dream. And today, we celebrate each of them. As Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, reminds us, education is the bridge between our history and our future. Those words capture perfectly the significance of today's occasion. Every classroom, every lesson, every examination builds upon the sacrifices of those who came before us, while preparing new generations for what comes ahead of us. Today, we are not simply celebrating our results. We are strengthening that bridge and ensuring that our young people are equipped to lead Anguilla and the wider community into an increasingly complex and interconnected world. The Caribbean has always demonstrated the greatness is never determined by geography, but rather it is determined by vision, perseverance, courage, and most importantly, by education. Our region has produced so many exceptional individuals. Sir Arthur Lewis and Derek Walcott, internationally respected scholars and scientists, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, public servants, whose contributions have shaped not only Caribbean civilization, but the entire world. Their achievements remind us that excellence is not confined by the size of our island, and as we can see by the results just recently released, have shaped not only the Caribbean civilization, but the wider world. As the late Dr. Eric Williams, historian, educator, and statesman, memorably declared, the future of our nation lies in the school bags of our children. Today, those school bags carry far more than textbooks. They carry ideas, they carry innovation, they carry dreams, they carry the hopes of families and the aspirations of nations. They carry the future of our Caribbean. To every student receiving your examination results here today, whether your results exceed your expectations or fall short of what you've hoped for, I want you to remember these simple truths. Your examination results reflect your performance at a particular moment in time. They do not define your potential, your character, or your future. Success is never measured solely by grades. It is measured by resilience, by integrity, by curiosity, and by compassion. And of course, by your willingness to learn throughout your entire life. For those celebrating today, congratulations. You have earned every success through hard work, determination, and perseverance. For those who may be disappointed, remember that one examination does not determine the course of your life. To our parents and guardians, thank you for every sacrifice you have made, every word of encouragement that you have offered, and every opportunity you created for your child to succeed. To our principals, teachers, and support staff, and I want to repeat this, to our principals, teachers, and support staff, thank you for your unwavering dedication to shaping not only capable students, but responsible citizens. And I want to give our principals and teachers and support staff a round of applause. And I have singled them out because I am fully aware of many principals, teachers, and support staff who continue to go above and beyond every year, facilitating extra classes for students coming down to the wire, going above and beyond, bringing students to their home, doing whatever is possible for students to succeed. You inspire confidence, nurture talent, and ignite ambition. Thank you. As we celebrate these achievements, we must also recognize that education itself is changing. The world our students are preparing to enter is fundamentally different from the one we ourselves experience. The careers they will pursue, the technologies they will use, and the challenges they will face are evolving in an unprecedented way. And perhaps nowhere is that transformation more evident than in the emergence of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is no longer a concept reserved just for science fiction or research laboratories. It is now part of our everyday living. It is influencing our communities, how we work, our businesses, how they operate, and increasingly, how we teach and learn. Used wisely, it can offer personalized learning and support for students with diverse learning needs, assist teachers with lesson planning and assessment, improve accessibility. Yet, like every powerful innovation, artificial intelligence also presents challenges. It requires us to safeguard academic integrity. It challenges us to protect privacy and personal data. It reminds us that technology must never replace independent thinking, ethical judgment, and human creativity. So then, the question before us is therefore whether artificial intelligence belongs in education. The question is whether we are prepared to lead its responsible and ethical use, because it is here and it is here to stay. I am pleased to say that the Caribbean Examination Council has demonstrated exceptional leadership in this regard. Recognizing that technology continues to reshape education, CXC has developed its responsible generative artificial intelligence policies framework for secondary education, providing guidance that supports innovation while preserving the integrity and credibility of Caribbean qualifications. This framework recognizes that artificial intelligence should enhance education, not undermine it. Its purpose is to empower teachers, strengthen AI literacy among students, and encourage responsible innovation. That balanced approach deserves a commendation. Here in Anguilla, I am proud to say that we share that vision. In 2025, the government of Anguilla and the Caribbean Examination Council entered into a memorandum of understanding to facilitate the development, the implementation of the artificial intelligence framework in the education sector in Anguilla. Now, those of you who know me know that I like to win, and I also like to be the first. So we were the first to sign that memorandum. That partnership represents much more than an agreement between the two institutions. It represents a shared commitment to preparing our learners for the future in which digital competence, innovation, and ethical leadership will be essential to national development. But I am more proud to announce that we just did not only sign that memorandum of understanding and put it on the shelf. We actively worked to develop our national generative artificial intelligence in education policy for the entire education sector in Anguilla. Following extensive consultation with teachers, school leaders, parents, and key stakeholders, Executive Council has approved the National Generative Artificial Intelligence in Education Policy 2025-2030. I was reliably informed this morning by CXC we are the first Caribbean nation to do so in collaboration with CXC. And I want to thank my PS, Dr. Richardson Lake, for all the hard work that went into helping to drive this initiative. This marks a defining moment in our education system. It positions Anguilla among Caribbean jurisdictions taking deliberate and strategic and responsible steps to ensure that artificial intelligence enhances teaching and learning while safeguarding the values upon which education is built. Our policy establishes a national framework for ethical, responsible, equitable, and sustainable use of artificial intelligence across every level of education, from early childhood to primary, secondary, technical, and vocational education, and lifelong learning. It has been informed by the UNESCO Caribbean Policy Roadmap, the Caribbean Examination Council Responsible Generative Intelligence Framework, and aligned with our Education Act, our Education Policy, and our Education Development Plan, and the aspirations of Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which calls for inclusive and equitable quality education for all. This policy is grounded in 9 guiding commitments. These include ethical oversight, academic integrity, inclusion, artificial intelligence, literacy, modernized assessment, educator capacity building, which is critically important, data privacy, cybersecurity, and continued investment in digital infrastructure. These are not simply policy principles, they are commitments to our children, commitments to our teachers, commitments to ensuring that technology strengthens education without diminishing the importance of human resource, judgment, creativity, and independent thought. They are also reflected in CXC's newest qualification, the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate. CTEC represents another important evolution in Caribbean education. It recognizes that learning is not always linear and that success is not always measured by a single examination. Instead, it offers learners flexible, competency-based pathways that enable them to build qualifications progressively while developing practical, job-ready skills for higher education, entrepreneurship, and the modern workforce. This approach reflects the reality of today's economy. Employers are increasingly seeking individuals who can adapt, innovate, collaborate, and continue learning throughout their careers. Education must therefore prepare students who are not only ready for examinations, but ready for life. Let me repeat that. Education must therefore prepare students not only for examinations, but for life. Here in Anguilla, that is precisely our vision. We are committed to building an education system that develops the whole child, an education system that values excellence, creativity, resilience, and compassion. An education system that equips learners with the confidence to compete globally while remaining grounded in the values that define us as Caribbean people. To the Caribbean Examination Council, thank you for more than 5 decades of unwavering service to the Caribbean education and for your continued leadership in preparing our region for the future. As we leave here today, may we all remember that every child educated is another bridge built between our history and our future. May today's achievements inspire tomorrow's discoveries. May today's learners become tomorrow's innovators. May today's graduates become tomorrow's leaders. And may our collective commitment to education continue to strengthen Anguilla, enrich our Caribbean, and create a future not defined by the many challenges that we continue to face, but by the opportunities that we seize together. May God continue to bless the Caribbean Examination Council. May God continue to bless our Caribbean. And may God continue to bless Anguilla. Thank you.
I invite the minister to remain on stage and be joined by Dr. Wesley for the moment.
Honorable Minister, thank you for your words and for the generous partnership of the government of Anguilla and the Department of Education. We are grateful for how you have embraced what Caribbean education is all about. And your presentation was well received. I'm particularly impressed that you have really become the very first member state in CARICOM to have your policy in AI ready. You are leading, and it's good. As we say in Anguilla, what? But Minister, whenever we have functions like these, we do present the results to you officially. And this USB, holds the entire results of the region. So if you want to get access to it, talk to the minister after, and you will be able to. But Minister, well done, and this is to officially present to you the results for 2026, May, June 2026.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, for the moment, for students who are online, being very impatient at this moment, waiting for the portal to open. But just before we open the portal to all students, I want the top performer from Anguilla to come forward who performed well. So please, Minister, you'll have to join me on stage as well to watch the student. But I'm going to call Karani Millet. Karani Millet, yes. Of the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School to come on stage, and I'm going to ask the minister to join me, as well as Ms. Gishard, the LR for Anguilla, as this student will be the first CTech student to access their results on our e-pre-slip. E- Well, he's not under no obligation to share his results, but it's on.
I don't know if too many people on the portal refresh.
Yeah, I guess in our monitoring room at CXC, actually, they just sent me a clip of the monitoring board, and almost all students online already waiting to get on the portal. It's not coming up? So while you wait, the very first CTEC credential ever open live, and you're going for another device? Yes. The portal. Students, please wait. The portal is not yet open. It will be open just after this demonstration. Yes. Until you hear me repeating that the portal is officially open, it will not be open. Right? It's still not coming up? You know, this is sometimes the challenge with technology, right? It works when you have it there, and by the time you come now, this is the moment for it to work. And he's so anxious to... Are we getting it on that device? Just bear with us a minute here. We're getting it right. We're getting it right. Good things come to those who wait. It's not still not coming up on that? Is it connected? Oh, sure. No. The international is gone. Nicole, they show them everything. To change. You want to clear and use back this machine? Let me see. Nicole. Okay. Alright. See you breathe. Breathe that. so he has now gotten his chance to get in. So congratulations, sir. Well done. All right, good, yes. And now to the thousands of families, friends, and loved ones joining us online and here in Anguilla, on behalf of the Board of Governors, management, and staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council, it is my profound honor to declare the 2026 CXC results portal well and truly open. Students, you can rush now. A new day is rising in Caribbean education. I thank you all for your patience. Thank you.
The 1264 Island Boys have now returned, and they will perform for us The Climb by Miley Cyrus, and I think that's the most fitting selection for all those who were so anxiously awaiting their results. The process is important. Enjoy The Climb. Thank you to Sharvin and Arvin for that marvelous rendition, and I'm sure you've never heard The Climb interpreted in that way, Caribbean style, so it deserves another round of applause. At this point, Ms. Polianne Tate, Public Relations Officer of the CXC, will preside over a question and answer segment. We welcome Ms. Tate.
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. Sorry, it's afternoon, yes. Protocol's already been established. At this time, we want to have an opportunity for our journalists who are online and any journalist here in the building with us to ask any questions of Dr. Manning or Dr. Wesley based on the wealth of information that we received this morning, as well as the demonstrations and the new things happening at CXC. So I'll start at home. First of all, if there's anyone here in the room with us, you can just identify yourself. And if not, we can, I see we have a hand here at the back. I'll just ask you to give your name, the media house you're representing, and if you want to pose your question to a specific person, please let us know.
Good afternoon. Niamke Brooks from Radio Anguilla. Niamke Brooks from Radio Anguilla. First of all, I just want to congratulate all the students and the parents and guardians and the entire education system. My first question would be to the technocrats at CXC. For the CTEC examination and qualification, will it be accepted, is it designed to be accepted as a qualification for the workforce? And if so, how has stakeholder engagement gone so far in establishing it as a qualification that persons can go out and present it to get jobs?
Excellent question, and those are the kind of questions we have been getting as we make the stakeholder consultations right across the region. We recognize that when we were doing the CTEC certification, that it must be something that is of value to the student. And so each module of CTEC was broken down so the content is relatable and relevant and provide for job readiness as well. So for example, with module 1, we have included, for example, things like consumer arithmetic. So if a student seeks employment at courts or any of the other outlets that they can get engaged with, the employers will know that someone coming with module 1 will have the requisite competence in a supermarket or anywhere for entry-level jobs, that is, to understand pricing, discounts, compound interest, simple interest. You have the skills necessary to execute that particular function. Module 2 then gets you into statistics, and somebody then can take module 2 to work in like your planning institute where you do population and census or anything that deals with statistical analysis and all of those things. So the modules are so grouped that the cluster itself provides for you to have access to employment in various sectors. We have been talking with the employers and indicating to them what it means. In fact, the new way that results will be presented for all subjects going forward that are modularized will be on the modules, because the module gives more information about the competence that the students and the content the students would have mastered. And that way, an employer knows that what I'm getting is suiting the job I'm engaging them for. So we have been engaging employers right across the region to make that happen.
Yes. I know you would have mentioned that 88% of the candidates would have passed CTEC Module 1. Do you anticipate similar performance level in the upcoming years of Module 2 and 3?
Well, if this is an indication to go by, this is our very first pilot, and it is very encouraging. The fact is, we have now recognized a body of students who would not normally be recognized. Because if they are not writing full CSEC, for some countries, students are not recommended to write an examination. But now you have a basis on which to be strategic in how you recommend students. You are ready for Module 1, write Module 1. If you're ready for Module 2, write it. If you're ready for Module 3, write it. If you're ready for all 3 modules, write CTEC. Sorry, write CSEC, right? Because CSEC is actually all 3 modules. In fact, students, and that is why the results is so encouraging. If you sign up for CSEC, you don't have to sign up for CTEC. However, if you sign up for CTEC, you cannot do CSEC because you have already entered the system to write one module. However, the question students are writing in Module 1 is the very same question on the CSEC paper. So, the possibility that now exists, which we have demonstrated, is that there are persons who will write the CSEC certification and be given their digital CTEC credential. And so students who would perhaps, when I talk about that 41,000 students, those who are students who would not have been recognized for having mastered Module 1. Because the full one-shot exam, CSEC full certification, would not have recognized that. Okay? Now, it is also important that those who get a grade 1, we will still issue you your various digital CTEC, electronically though, not paper-based. If you want that, we can work through it. But what that does is an employer now has the ability to say, even though you got a grade 2 or a grade 1 or a grade 3, when I look at your modules, I am seeing the skill sets that you have that is relevant to my work and can make an informed decision, which is a bit more information than just saying knowledge, comprehension A and knowledge B. Now you can relate that to a content and the competence that the student will come with.
Yes, in relation to the same CTEC math, for the SBA component, how is that structured compared to the CSEC?
The same, they write the same SBAs, okay, right? So the SBA is structured no differently. They will do the same SBA as the CSEC student, because remember, it's the same standard. We're not lowering the standard. What we are doing is recognizing that students have varying ways of learning, different rate of learning, and the amount of content they can absorb at any one time.
Yes. Is there any possibility for CSEC or CTEC style module-based examination to be done for CAPE subjects?
CAPE is also on the table, and those are coming on stream as well. So the CTEC modularization is our micro-credential for both CSEC and CAPE. At the CSEC level, it is CTEC level 4 to be in line with CSEC, and at the CAPE level, it is CTEC level 5 to be in line with the level 5 recognition of CAPE.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. At this time, are there any more journalists with us here from Anguilla that would like to pose a question? Okay, it seems we can move then to our online journalists. I see a hand up from Sashana Small. So I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I'll also like you to state the media house you're working with, and go ahead and pose your question.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Sashana Small. I'm with the Jamaica Gleaner. Dr. Mannings, you said earlier in your presentation that the CTEC certification bears the same standard as CSEC. Could you expound further as to what exactly that means, if it is a case of duplication of, the same exam? And if you could state as well, if there is a plan for CXC to eventually replace CXC math, at least with CTEC math.
Thanks for your question. Just to note that I think it was probably close to my last slide, that the syllabus is modularized. So the CSEC syllabus, the Caribbean Secondary Exam Certificate, is modularized. And those modules, so that we spoke about earlier, that module 1 that we referenced is the CTEC module that we are referencing. So it's the same standard, and I'm going to give you an example. Are you hearing?
Yes, I'm hearing.
So on this year, on the examination paper, somebody needs to mute. Okay, I can go ahead. So candidates who did CTEC and CSEC, for example, did the same question 1. So it's literally the same question that they get on the CTEC, that module 1 that you saw there, that's what they got on the CSEC paper. So it's different questions aligned for the modules, but next year it would be the exact order because the syllabus has been revised. It was released in 2025. So a candidate who is sitting in an exam doing CTEC module 1 and a candidate who is doing or module 2 or 3 and a candidate who is doing CSEC will be engaged in the same questions. The difference we're saying is 1, it's flexible. 2, when that individual gets that credential, it's stackable because each of those modules together will give them their CSEC qualification. I'm hoping that that helps. Confirmation online? Glina?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Manning, for that. But I wanted to find out specifically the long-term plan for the CTEC. If it's a case where when we have, for example, more students choosing to do modularized exam, will it eventually replace CSEC?
So it won't replace because it's the same exam. So what we're saying is, and I want you to think about it like this. If it is that we have, if you look at the syllabus, you'll see modules 1 with a name, module 2, and module 3. That's the CSEC syllabus. If you look at that currently, you'll see those 3 modules. And each of those modules are micro-credentials. That's what we are recognizing. And I want to also add, this is, the registrar mentioned about the employers wanting these micro-credentials so that candidates wanting or having interest in a particular area, let us say the candidate is going to do principle of business. One candidate may choose to do principles of business, CSEC, but another candidate just in being interested in the business planning component, they would do a module of that qualification. So it's not a lower standard, it's the same standard because it's a component of the CSEC, which is the modules, and it's not replacing the CSEC because it is the same thing. It's just the micro-credentials.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Manning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manning. Now, I'm looking to see if we have any other questions coming through, but I think that means that the presentations this morning were so thorough that our journalists have gone straight to their computers and their editing machines to get those stories out to the media. So at this time, I'm not seeing any more questions online. So I would say then to our MC, thank you. And we can then move ahead as we wrap up the program for today.
Thank you, Ms. Tate. And I'm sure at the beginning of this ceremony, there was a lot of interest in what we were doing in the room, but perhaps that interest has migrated elsewhere now. So we will wrap up here now. And the final item for our program is the vote of thanks, which will conclude today's ceremony. And this will be rendered by Ms. Devine Gishard, Education Officer Assessment, Testing, and Examinations, and the CXC Local Registrar for Anguilla. Please welcome Ms. Gishard.
Good afternoon. Adopting the protocol already established, as we bring this momentous official release of results ceremony to a close, it is my absolute privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Ministry and Department of Education, Anguilla, and the Caribbean Examination Council. First and foremost, we give God all the glory, honor, and praise for his guidance, wisdom, and grace in bringing us together for this significant event. We extend our deepest gratitude to everyone who contributed to making today a resounding success. Reverend Vincia Celestine, for leading us in an inspiring invocation that set the tone for our proceedings. Dr. Bonnie Richardson Lake, Permanent Secretary, Social Development and Education, for her warm welcome remarks and continuous commitment to educational advancement. Thank you, PS. Mrs. Rita Celestine Carty, Education Officer, Human Resource and Professional Development, for serving as our moderator and steering today's program so smoothly. Let's give her a round of applause for that. Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, CXC, for his valuable remarks and ongoing leadership across the region. Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations, CXC, for presenting the comprehensive education, examination, administration, overview, and detailed presentation of results. Ms. Nevea Simpson, for her captivating poetic performance, Up the Road, which enriched our program with culture and inspiration. The Honorable Minister of Social Development, Education, Youth and Culture, Library Services, and Probation, Mrs. Shelia Rogers-Webster, for her insightful feature address and unwavering support for our young people. 1264 Island Boys, for uplifting us with their wonderful musical renditions, including the national anthem, the national song of Anguilla, and of course the musical melody. Ms. Folian Tate, Public Relations Officer, CXC, for expertly facilitating the interactive question and answer segment. We also express our sincere appreciation to the technical and logistical team from CXC and Anguilla, Titanium Audio Visual, Confetti Dust Studio, Mr. Trenton Roach, Larry's Catering, the Pathfinders, the Department of Education Maintenance Crew, Communication Officer, staff of the Department of Education, the protocol team, local and regional media partners, parents, principals, teachers, support staff, supervisors, invigilators, moderators, and security personnel, and of course our local registrars across the region. Yes. Most importantly, we celebrate our hard-working candidates in Anguilla and across the region whose efforts and achievements we honor today. As we access your results later on, some persons probably done gone on and accessing those results, right? Remember the words, and it just so happened that I have the same words that Reverend Celestine mentioned today. That alone tell you that we are in alignment. The words of Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declared the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So no matter what your results may be, know that God has you covered. To everyone present here or watching virtually, thank you for your support, dedication, and commitment to academic success of our regional youth. May God continue to bless you all, and may He bless the future of education in Anguilla and across the Caribbean. Thank you, and have a wonderful afternoon. Please don't run away. You can step over to the other side. We have a little gathering for each and every one of you. So thank you, thank you.